Okay, today we're here with Tom, and we're. he always makes me laugh. He has such good stories. So we're going to stick pretty much with the angel stories today. And he's, in the last 4 months that he's been seeing angels, he has some really good things that he's seen. So the first one's in the church.
Uh-huh.
And Tom, tell us about that.
All right. It was at Glory Mountain in San Marcos. The church has a real high ceiling, and the pastor topic was talking about Jesus. And as he was talking, I saw this brown cross appear, and it was huge. The ceiling's got to be something like 22 feet high, and the cross took up his entire ceiling. And it was a really coarse wood, very rough, unfinished, almost like a walnut color.
So you were seeing the cross on the ceiling.
Well, no, actually, it was like a vertical cross,
Oh.
and it was like the entire front of the church has got like a glass, so you can see through it, and the cross was huge. It had to have been 20, almost filled the room.
Okay.
And it was just interesting. I could tell it was really coarse,
Okay.
really rough, and it was like a walnut color. And so anyway, I was watching the cross as he was talking about Jesus
And this was during his sermon?
during his sermon.
Okay.
And then I noticed that there were little holes at each of the 3 points of the cross that you would have imagined would have been there if had a spike or a nail had been driven into it.
Wow.
So I could see them. They were like, the kind of
Yeah.
inch wide holes type thing. And I could see them. And then as he talked, I noticed that I saw like a drop of blood start coming out of like all 3 holes. And it was a big cross, but I could see like a little bit of blood start kind of just dropping down from the holes, all 3 points, and drop down.
Okay.
And then as I watched, it was kind of wild because it was like, and I couldn't even remember what the sermon was about because I was watching. It was just like, and this was actually one of the first visions I saw a while back that actually was like in a movie format.
Okay.
I used to see visions like separate images,
Mhm.
like pictures or short little images. This one was like almost like a movie. It might have been the second one I saw
Okay.
where it was actually like a movie unfolding. So it was really cool as I
Okay.
watched. So the drops started coming down, and as I continued to watch, the drops started coming faster, and I could see like basically numbers drops. Then they start streaming down.
Wow.
Streaming down blood from the drops, and then pretty soon the drops started coming, and it was like a flow of blood, and then pretty soon the flow go to rivulets, and then it reached a point where the blood was literally coming out like a hose, but it wasn't coming out like shooting across the room. It was only still
Right.
going
Just
down, but
going down the cross.
huge volumes of blood,
Wow.
enough to where I was thinking, whoa, that's a lot of blood. And I have to admit, my this might seem funny, but I don't come from a religious background, so when I see blood, I think vampires. I know it isn't the most Christian thing, but that's what comes to mind. I think this is blood and vampires, kind of thing. I've since realized that blood in the Christian community is a good thing.
Yeah.
But that went through my mind. First image was, boy, this is really macabre. To see this blood coming down that.
Sure.
So I watched it, and then I looked down, and the church is not real big. So there's 2 rows of chairs, and then there's like a central little space between the chairs.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there watching it. I noticed that when I looked down, so much blood was gushing down it was gushing at this point. I looked down, I could literally see like a river of turbulent, like rapids type like blood. Like you see in the rapids where the water's, it's I guess you call it very turbulent.
Right.
And
Except it was blood.
It was blood. Yeah, it was
Wow.
bright red.
Going through the whole church.
No, it was actually going right down the
Down
center.
the center aisle.
Like there was a river
Oh,
between
wow.
the aisle, maybe 3
Okay.
feet wide kind of aisle there, and it was like blood just flowing down the center of it. I said,
Okay.
whoa, that's a lot of blood coming down there.
Yeah.
So as I watched, basically I saw angels. Actually, I'd seen angels. They were like swooping all around the room, flying up and above. Lots of angels up and above prior to this.
Okay.
And then pretty much I saw, I think also at this point I saw Jesus. He was as big as the cross, or at least standing there, in normal size. And he had materialized while this blood was coming down, like he was like watching the service as we were as it was going on.
Now, was he like in the back of the room watching?
No, he
it, or
was up.
at
He
the
was
side
like
of the cross?
he was like standing right next to the pastor.
Okay.
The pastor was there, and there was a cross behind him,
Yeah.
or like in the center of the room, and Jesus was like off to the side there.
Okay.
But he wasn't doing much, just watching. And so anyway, the blood's flowing down, and then I saw these angels swooping all around the room, and then I saw chalices appear, all sorts of like silver and gold jewel encrusted chalices, like a cup, and they start swooping down into the blood, and they swoop down and kind of like swoop out this big chalice, fly to the top or to the above everyone, and pour it on everyone. And there was lots of angels doing that. So pretty soon it was like lots of blood coming down on everybody. But it was interesting. The blood, when it hit people, it almost looked like it formed like a fertilizer. It's kind of hard to describe it. Well, it served. No, I take that back. It wasn't a fertilizer. It kind of looked like it formed like a soil, but it wasn't soil. But it wasn't this.
Over the people or through the people?
Well, it's like normal liquid would fall and then it would just run off.
Right.
But this blood would stay there. Like it was like they were pouring liquid blood, but it was behaving more like dirt.
Okay.
And it would just pool on people, but stay there.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to describe.
So like forming a covering on them, type
kind of
of
like a covering, but it kind of looked like if you it kind of adhere like it would if blood was soil. That's like if dirt was falling, but it wasn't dirt, but it landed and stuck like it would be had there be dirt.
Okay.
And the reason I bring this up is that I could tell that the blood was a soil, and I guess I knew that because pretty soon I saw vines start coming out of the soil on everybody.
Wow.
And these are like the potus plants, the kind of those plants that have, I think potus is the name, like a typical vine with green leaves and all that. And it looked like a normal vine, very green. It started very quickly growing all over by everyone and going all around them. But it wasn't restricting them. It was just.
No, were these vines growing out of each person, or was there just like a vine?
No, it was like coming out of the soil.
Coming out of the soil.
Like in each person, it would sprout and kind of go around them. And then pretty soon, there was I saw out of each of the plants, I would see stems grow, and at each stem, maybe 4 or 5, 6 inches of like a narrow stem, would be these beautiful blossoms. Wow. And it was like blossoms from every kind of flower you could possibly imagine, just gorgeous, just all different types of blossoms. They wouldn't be related to the plant, but everywhere. And then basically the blossoms were moving around, and I think at one point he started talking about something, and then I saw chains form around everyone. And then it was like all of a sudden there were chains all around people, like wrapped around people. And then I noticed that the plants had actually entwined themselves all around the chains.
Okay.
And it was interesting. And at this point, I noticed that Jesus had multiplied himself, and he was standing in front of everyone. Normal sized Jesus, about 6 feet or whatever, and he was standing in front of everyone. Like every single person had
their own special Jesus.
Yeah, had their own Jesus standing right next to him, like he duplicated himself.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I don't want to interrupt too much
here, but go for
it. Just thinking about how each of us is communicating with Jesus, but we never really think that each of us has our own Jesus type of thing. I mean, it's not like that, but it is.
I think it really is. I mean, I think Jesus has the ability or capacity to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And he literally was everyone's Jesus. Cool. And they were all separate individual beings who were focused on that one person. And it's like I was seeing that fact that everyone, Jesus was now there with everyone.
Right.
And then he was funny. I could look at his expression, and he had like an expectant look on his face, like he was waiting for something. And it's hard to know.
What happened next? You got me excited here.
Yeah. But I could tell that he was waiting. And then as it was going on, I noticed that I could see every person's spiritual heart. Now, when I see a heart sometimes, I don't necessarily will see sometimes I'll see an anatomical heart, or sometimes I'll get like a cartoon heart, where it's kind of like shaped like a Valentine type heart, But basically it'll start to beat, or it's beating. When it beats, it's like a heart that's glowing, and every time it beats, it gives off light. And then on the and then basically it was like, and it's like there's a brightness coming from the heart. And then as I watched, I could tell that, I could see, like, everyone has a spirit body. We have a physical body here. We also have a spirit body in a spirit realm. And it's like, it's similar to us. And I could see a spirit body in everyone.
Okay.
And it looked kind of like a golden body that had like a silhouette and features that matched the person. But it wasn't like...
That's where the chains still wrapped around everybody at this point?
I could see the chains. And I think maybe trying to remember the exact sequence. I think the body may have appeared before I saw the chains.
Okay.
Like I looked at the person, and inside each person was a spirit body,
Right.
and the body looked like the person, but it was like a full silhouette body, but I could see features, but it wasn't like a different person. It was like a golden image that you could tell was that person.
Okay.
And so the body's there, and it was kind of wild. It's like first I saw the spirit body. Go ahead.
So Jesus was waiting for something to happen. So what happened?
This might have happened before Jesus went in front of them. Now that I think about it, I think before Jesus multiplied himself, I saw the spirit body.
Okay.
The spirit body was there, and then I noticed that the spirit body seemed to take emphasis over the physical body. What I
Okay.
mean is, it's like,
You don't have to tell us.
okay, but basically
Yeah.
the body itself, it's like it became prominent.
Okay.
And the physical body kind of receded, and now I was seeing more that the spirit body was like a stronger image
Okay.
than the physical image. So anyway, now I think that I saw that, then all the stuff with the vines happened, and I was watching it. It was actually the chains were around, kind of like the physical body, the spirit body, but the spirit body was right coincident with the physical body.
Sure.
All right, all this stuff is happening. Now we're there. Jesus is in front of everyone. The heart is beating. And I get the feeling that Jesus was like encouraging people. His love was flowing into people, and certain people were acknowledging it and agreeing with it. And it was like an act of will on their part. And some people, their hearts got brighter, in like conjunction with Jesus. As the hearts got brighter and brighter, or got stronger, the lights got brighter and brighter, and it reached a point where it was growing and growing in some people, and other people it wasn't. That is almost as though, and chains had wrapped around everyone, and then it was almost as though the heart, and in conjunction with Jesus was there helping people, that the people started to struggle with their chains. And I could see the physical body kind of like going back and forth inside, wrestling with it, and I could see that the vines had intertwined themselves around the links of the chains, and they were helping to pull the chains.
Wow.
So it was
That's
like
really
a
cool.
combination of the physical struggling or resistance of the spirit body, and the vines, which I interpreted were from Jesus, was actually assisting to break the bondage. And in some people, the hearts got bright enough where it was like a combination of things, and it almost like it reached a crescendo, like you hear in music. And I saw the chains break.
Wow.
And then the spirit bodies were able to get up, embrace Jesus, and Jesus had this look of love and acceptance and pure joy that he'd witnessed this. And then they started like dancing around the room together. It's funny, but like in a ballroom dancing.
Like everybody's spirit, body,
But
and
only
Jesus.
those people. It was only like a few people in the room that whose hearts had like worked in conjunction with Jesus, and their hearts and the strength of the vines, which a feeling that was the part of Jesus' contribution,
Sure.
had actually broken it.
Wow.
And then most of the other people were sitting there. Some people's hearts got a little brighter. Some people's hearts didn't get bright at all. And on those people where the hearts didn't get bright enough,
Yeah.
there was a look of disappointment on Jesus' face, like he was unhappy they didn't do that. And I interpreted that to mean
Interesting.
like it's like we have a choice, and we can embrace God and accept God, and he will help us to overcome our bondage or not. It's our choice.
And you think that sermons are just boring type things? See all this stuff happening in the spirit realm?
But it was really funny. I got that sense of just that was the whole point of saying that it's our choice. It's an act of will to surrender, to embrace, and he will help you. He will match you, but it has to be a dual process.
Right. How important it is to keep our minds and hearts focused on Jesus.
Right.
Especially when
Yeah.
that blood and everything's flowing through. And wow, that was great.
And then I think then I saw all that, and then I think it kind of disappeared. I saw Jesus grow to the size of the room, like he was as big as the cross.
Right.
And then pretty much the vision ended. And that probably went on for 20, 30 minutes,
Okay.
half an hour. The whole thing kind of transpired.
I see why you have a hard time focusing on the sermon.
Yeah, I couldn't remember anything the poor guy said. I felt terrible, I was just like watching the movie, And I know he was talking about Jesus, but I didn't get anything beyond that.
And does this happen in most services? I don't want to get into a lot of detail here, but Do you see visions like this in most services?
Not most services,
Okay.
but it's not unusual.
It's not unusual.
It's like
Wow.
sometimes God will light me up with a service.
Yeah.
There's another one we can talk about.
Well, we'll talk to that in a minute.
Another one.
But if it happens in a lot of services, we have a lot more things to share with you. Thank you so much for watching.